So I was thinking about the like and dislike bar, just the concept of it. Like, I think it was like a week ago or something, but I was thinking about it because it's something that I really do think about a lot. Because not just like on YouTube, you got the like dislike bar, but Team Fortress TV, you got the plus frags. Reddit, you got the plus minus. It's a really common theme on the internet. And at first, I was kind of like, it kind of drives me crazy in the sense that I feel like it gives people, like, they feel like they have a power, they feel like they have a say, because, and I'm so amazed too at how many people, like, they disagree with something, or like, I don't even know, they dislike it. Like, I think in all of my existence, I've like disliked like one YouTube video, and I'm pretty sure it's LMFAO's Party Rock Anthem, and I was like 14 and very angry. But I just didn't understand that. Anyway, the thing though is that I'm not trying to complain about that, and I think it's more interesting than anything else, because in some sense I was at first I was like, man, it drives me crazy that they have something that makes them feel like they're making a difference. But then I kind of realized that it's like the actual play. It's the huge ultimate play on the people to make them feel like they're in control, like they have any impact, like they can dislike a video and fluctuate that ratio, and they feel like they're actually doing something, and like sending a message and like affecting someone, and they may be affecting someone, but the reality is that nothing's really happening. They're not doing anything. And so I guess in that sense I'm kind of cool with it now, because I feel like it's a really good way that it keeps those people forever satiated. They always think that they get some satisfaction out of some sort of hate, or feeling like they're actually I feel like they're actually sending some sort of hate, even though they've really just clicked a button on their computer screen. Like, I don't know. I just think I guess that's it. I'm going on too long, but I think if you really wanted to make a message against something, the most profound way to do it, I think, is if you like actually spoke out in some way, or even made something that refuted it. I think that's the most powerful form of like arguing against anything, and that will have the most impact. Like, if someone makes a video or anything against something you said and like completely trashes on you, that has a lot more impact than like some person who pressed the button. Anyway, I'm down with it. Let people think they're making a difference. But that ties into something later, which you'll see, because I don't like to be too proud about like, haha, got him.
You feel like there's something to be said for doing it now? That's a really wise thing for you to say, Sexfox. I appreciate that comment. I do. Because if I were to tell myself like, hey Slin, you don't have 5 hours a day to play TF2, it's kind of a lie.
I guess I want to talk about something that happened a few nights ago. I think it was Thursday night, and it was a slin stream. It's just something that happens to me every once in a while, is that I just get in the spot where I'm just like, fucking, I don't want to do anything I should be doing, and so I decided to go to teamfortress.tv, see if there's someone streaming, just have some time just to not do anything productive, and just be like, oh, I'm just gonna consume a bit, because I really don't want to be doing that with my time. And so Slin was streaming. I gotta watch Slin. I'm a big fan of Slin. And I have this alt account on Twitch that I made about a month ago. I've been pretty set on like, I don't want to do any of that alt account shit, especially it's not happening on Steam or anything. But it happened a month ago because pretty much I ran into this like Russian gaming talk show stream. I watch the talk show streams sometimes because I always find the weirdest shit like at 3 a.m. before I'm going to bed, and I love it. But so I found this Russian stream that he was streaming from a Russian English classroom, and he said whoever arrives like in the Twitch chat will be grading these students. And so I just had a conversation with like these students in Russia, and I gave them a grade. It was good. So I made an account for that. That was like a month ago. And so I've used it on and off in my lower moments. And so I'm showing up in Slin's chat. I'm watching him, enjoying it. I'm hearing him talk about how like he's basically just bringing up that like he had this dream to be an invite, and what happened was he was talking to this other player, trying to teach him basically and set him on the right path. And he was saying how he related to that person in the past, and he feels like part of that, his toxicity in the past, was why he wasn't able to achieve his full goal to go to invite. And so Slin, you see, is, for me, I've always felt as a person that's like embodies a love for TF2. If you watch his stream, if you talk to him even vaguely, you can just tell that he has a passion above a lot of people. And he says this numerous times. He's like, if I'm going to compete, it's going to be intense. Like, I don't go half-hearted, and when I do, it causes problems because I go so hard that I get very frustrated at those who don't. Something I can relate to. And so he's talking about this stuff, and I'm just thinking, man, what are you doing? Like, it's so clear to me that you want this, and I just didn't. Everything he was saying was sounding like he had said all this stuff, set himself up to convince himself otherwise, when it was so clear, like, he really should just go back to invite. He really should just, or not, he never was, but I'm saying, like, he should live the dream. He should do some TF2 now while he still can. TF2 will likely be around for a while. He's getting older. He doesn't have much time. He's saying all stuff. He wants to excel in his career. His career is going to be around for, like, ever. He's going to be able to work in the streaming industry, the video game industry. It's not going to go away. He's going to have, like, 4 decades to rank up in those industries and experience all there is. But this TF2 dream, this big portion of his life, he won't have all that. And this is something I think about a lot, is like how a little amount of time can make the time you have spent already so much more worth it, for like not a lot of effort. Like, so Slin spent like 10k hours, and I was thinking about it, and I feel like he really agrees with this, that he has this constant dream, and because he hasn't fulfilled it, there's always this sense of regret, and it feels more like a mistake in your life when you've spent that much time on something and you didn't get the result you wanted. And so basically I was really trying to lure him in Twitch chat, and I just kept saying all these like really genuine, intense messages about why, like, look, think about it, you know, it seems like it makes sense. And because that, if he goes an extra 100 hours, no, that's a conservative, but I was saying if he goes an extra 500 hours, and that's what it takes him to get to invite, that's like 1 season of IM plus getting into invite, he will have justified the 10,000 hours completely. And I felt this way with my time, when I was kind of like, I'm done. Like, I've spent so much time and I feel like I've just failed. And it's not getting me where I want to go in any way. I tried to make something out of it. I made that video that was like, I literally, all the point of that was just me putting in everything that I was like at all proud of, that I had recorded, or there was a way to put it in, just so when I look back on like I have plenty of other memories, but just when I think about those like 2,900 hours, I feel like there was some reason that it was all worth it. And I do think there are a lot of, you know, when I watch that, there is a lot of it. You know, I think about all the people I met and all those experiences, and how a lot of it was definitely worth the time. But you know, I don't know if it would feel quite as worth it if I hadn't like made the video per se. This is a different scenario, but I think this is true for a lot of people. Like, if you happen to quit 1,000 hours before you, like, let's say, go invite and win, you know, that's a big difference. You're only spending probably a fraction of your time again, but you are making it. It's like the difference between being something that you always regret and something that you can have like legitimate pride in. And that's a complicated issue, but basically, hopefully I'm showing some stuff on the video here, but I talked to him for like a long time. We stayed up way too late, and I kept talking in chat, and I convinced him, and I was amazed that I got through. But I feel like it was because we're on the same wavelength, and I feel like I was saying all the things that he had repressed himself from believing and talked himself out of. And hearing it from another person was enough for him to like be convinced and actually do it. And the thing was, throughout this, hopefully I'll show the VOD or something, he kept going, 6 Fox, 6 Fox. I mean, he kept like freaking out at what I was saying in my name, because it felt so vivid like that. And the unfortunate part, I guess, is that it kind of became like a meme thing in the chat towards the end, where everyone was saying, like, everyone was trying to, or some people were like mocking what I was doing and putting just like generic like motivational quotes in the chat, and they just thought I was saying like bullshit or whatever. And I don't say anything about like who I am or whatever. Like, I'm just some random name. But I feel like I have some experience, and I feel like my journey, partially in TF2 and all of this, is I wish in my life I could have gone like fuller. I wish I could have spent my time better. And I feel like it's just not my path necessarily. Maybe I will. There are no guarantees. I don't know. But I feel like when I see somebody like him with that passion, I just want more than anything for him to make it worth his time. You might have to struggle a little. It might be hard. You might be really pushing your body and your being to the maximum on what it can do, like working a full-time job and committing yourself like that. But you can't make sacrifices. I mean, this is how you're gonna end up like 90 and be fucking not pleased with where you are. You have to act now. It's never gonna change. You're never gonna be ready, and especially if you're waiting, it's gonna disappear. Your options are gonna go by. So I think I did convince him. I sent him a message later too on Twitch that I was like, look, dude, I would love to talk to you. I would love to tell you a bit about my experience, why I feel so passionate about this, just to convince you, because I feel so invested in this now, and that it's almost like succeeding through him will be like a success for me, because I'll feel like my mistakes will be someone else's, success, and it'll be worth it. But it sounded like he was already convinced by the time I messaged him, which I'm very happy about, and I hope he does that. I really do. Like, I can't emphasize enough. Anyway. I had to really focus to finish a project a few weeks ago, and so I had to like psych myself up by freshening my lifestyle. This is something I do or try to do. So I downloaded a bunch of music from some Japanese jazz musicians, a few I had known, a few I hadn't even heard before, and also some piano music by a guy named Greg Maroney. And I vowed to only listen to that stuff, to that playlist of like 5 hours of music, and to only wear solid white t-shirts until the project was done, that I was working on, that thing I needed to finish. And it was definitely effective. I feel like I always need to psych myself up. Like, the only way for me to keep moving forward is to always change my lifestyle. Like, I feel like I can't, like, I theorize that for some people, they have passion just so incredibly strong that they are simply, like, always happy and ready to do something, ready to do their passion or whatever. But I think even with my strongest passions, there are ones that I don't always want to do. And it's just unlikely that I'll be psyched about them 100% of the time regardless. I think it's just hard for me to be psyched about life 100% of the time regardless, but I try very hard to, trick myself and manipulate myself and maneuver my environment and my, what I'm taking in, what my brain's consuming and stuff to get psyched up enough all the time to like do what I want to do. I feel like I can. By the way, I'm reading this from the script, so I'm sorry if I just wrote this all down. But I feel like I can say whatever I'm thinking or experiencing in my life to my YouTube subscribers, and not in the sense that I'm like only comfortable here, because I feel like I can say almost anything to a complete stranger about me. But I feel like I want to give you guys any food for thought I can, in hopes that I am enriching and improving your lives based on the fact that you've decided to just like follow what I'm doing. even though it all stems from the goofy stuff, I definitely feel like that's the way that I can attract people who would also be more receptive to when I have like real messages I want to send. And even amongst my goofy videos, there's usually always something that is being said with it. It's very rare that I'm just doing like meaningless laughter. Like usually it's an idea I feel very pure and supportive of, regardless of whether it's funny. I know there's like some kind of really short, goofy update videos. Those aren't huge, but and you don't have to laugh at a lot of the videos. As long as like I just want you to feel captivated by it. And I think a lot of that stems from how disappointing regular people can be in life. I'm gonna use that term regular people because I don't know how to put it, and because we're a community based around a super niche game, and we're all in a super niche community within that because we think comp is even a thing, and even within that, this channel is niche as hell because I think most people think like I'm probably just like some shit poster Sony Vegas guy who's trying to be shocking or ironic or just whatever it is they disagree with. They think I'm like, I don't know, this is the niche within the niche within it. It's too much. But I have this problem with the whole 6 Hawks things and Slin stream because I got to the point where I was speaking, you know, overly unfiltered, like I was saying, and people were sort of mocking me, and other people thought I was like some shock idiot, without knowing who it was, just from what I was saying. And sure enough, one of the guys who was arguing against my message was saying I was advocating a dangerous lifestyle, and he literally mentioned a personal experience about how he had to like drop out of school because he overwhelmed himself. Which if you watch my recent videos, I will remind you of something I said before. But really, it's tough, like other people, because I feel like they're so in their boxes that everything around them that seems unusual is wrong, to justify whatever they're doing and not, you know, have to feel like they're ever wrong, because they're just living in this way that nothing will ever have to change for them. It's always static. It's forever the same. It's like when I try to have more interesting conversations with the people I know in real life, they'll usually think I'm being like weird as hell or edgy or something, but those are always the people who live their lives on their phones and are just incredible narcissists, and dedicate most of their time to like vanity, and don't really think a lot. So I don't know. There was an experience I had about like 2 or 3 months ago now, where I had this mandatory event at school. I go to a kind of strange school, so I'm only able to see some people like every month or so. And so I saw this girl again this month, and I knew her because we both went to the same old high school before that school, and I switched to this new school, and she came as well the following semester. We were always friends by association at our old school because we had mutual friends, but never got along like fantastically. I mean, sure enough, we had said hello and started making some chat, because I hate like fucking standing around and wasting my time when I have to be there, and everyone else is just satisfied with like sitting to themselves, not making an effort, not doing anything. Like, I don't know, I have plenty of time to think to myself. It's just I want to like have some sort of interaction. And sure enough, we started to get into a really good conversation. We were just talking about our futures and our plans at first, or what we had planned at all, if anything, for going forward in life. Just because we rarely see each other, we don't know that stuff. It's kind of this small talk at this age. And something to note is that we both shared with each other that we had actually stayed up all night, and shown up because we both thought the school event was so early. And just personally, I'm like an atrocious night owl. And I didn't remember the event was happening until like 5 a.m. and I was like, fuck, I guess I just have to stay up an hour and then drive there. But anyway, we talked for about an hour, even after the event has ended. Things were very real, probably realer conversations than I like ever have, period. And I was totally honest with her, which is a lot of intensity, and she was receptive, which I've never seen before. I even was open with her that I kind of have a love-hate relationship with her and a lot of other old friends, because I thought well of her in some regards because we were, kind of friends of association, and I need social interaction to live. But that she'd like done some blatantly fucked up stuff in the past that made me dislike her. Like, I don't know, people have not good morals. I'm not into that, like stealing and shit. Anyway, she asked me about a mutual old friend, one that we both kind of have grown away from liking, and that really triggered a bunch of very honest conversation between us. And I talked about some of my experience of personal growth, and shutting down certain parts of my life and sort of forcing myself to start anew, because I was feeling like so many people around me weren't going anywhere, and worse than that, they don't want to be going anywhere. They're happy being stuck, and that was terrible for me, my psyche. And so, just how bad the situations of that are for many young people. It's depressing around us what these people are doing, the way they live. And she was actually very receptive. She was engaged and kept talking to me, relating, and was saying that she was like really affected by what I was saying. And I asked her, I was asking, like, what do you like think you want to do in the future? Like, what excites you? What makes you excited about like existing? And this is something I haven't tried to do, because I'm obviously like a bit negative about a lot of our current climate and like people, society, etc. I talk about tf2 stuff a lot, but I always try to have a positive outlook, so it's not just all like fuck everything, this is so shit, because although it is a lot, that doesn't really guide any direction, like what to do next. Maybe it means you need less of some things, but where do you actually step? What should you do? Like what's good? And so this is why I brought this up, and she said her interests, and so I like recommended some things to her, and she kind of explained some of her insecurities about those professions, and I tried to like help her think through it, and it was really good. The whole thing was just great. We had this honesty and sense of alliance that I don't have with most people to that level, like ever. Like that was, I don't know if I'll ever forget that conversation, because it was just so legitimate. And we exchanged email addresses and left. And later that week, she emailed me and saying that she wished, this is pretty much the exact wording, that she wished she was more like me, and that she had felt she had a more honest conversation with me than anyone she was capable of having it with in her life. And it was somewhat relieving to me, because I kind of ended up tying in a lot of my like life ideologies and realizations I've been making at the time to our conversation, and she actually found truth to them. And so I didn't feel so crazy about them, because sometimes I'll let that shit out when I'm talking to people, and then I'll just never hear from them again because they probably think I'm nuts or whatever. And so I was so happy about that, just validating some of that stuff from like a real human and not being crazy. But sure enough, much later, next time we see each other in the real world, and even with like after further emails, she becomes completely disconnected again. And it's like the button switched back off to, she's like a person living at 10% interest of anything again, just sort of floating around like everyone else. I was open with her with that same clarity, compassion, and straightforwardness that I had that first day we talked, where it was super honest, super real, and she just was no longer at that state. I think she was just like overwhelmed by it, or preferred like the ignorant bliss again. It's like she like she dipped her toe in some reality and then got like freaked the fuck out. And that's like it felt like all of a sudden our great conversation was like just a fluke, that like she was just off that day or something. And it was it was like really a bummer for me, I guess, for a bit, just to have that happen, that she's like now just this normal human again, and like the cycle of garbage and just constant like ignorance and apathy. These are things that I have to accept, and like it is what it is. And the reality is that she taught me so much in the way that this happened, seeing that decline from like having a real conversation to her not being able to, and like shutting back down and kind of turning back into just everyone else's default boring state, this normalness that I'm talking about. It did teach me a lot. It like completely like corrected or just made true like a bazillion theories I've had over time. A lot of them, so one, for instance, like having to do with sleep, because I really believe that the longer you are awake, the more you are able to like be more gruelingly analytical and self-reflective. Because the mind resets like every day, sometimes for bad and sometimes for good. But this is the whole, like it was in that other video with that song, the whole "in the morning I'll be fine" concept. Like it's very real. You feel like shit or you feel great, you wake up and you kind of come back neutral. It's an evolutionary feature, you know, so you can start strong and not get too stuck on something. But at the same time, it's like you lose a little of that emotional progress that you can attain from being awake. This is part of why I love staying up as late as I can, because I feel like the longer I'm awake, the more I am able to piece together connections in life and like get a clearer view from a large scale, make assessments more objectively, and just sort of pyramid ideas together to see new heights, to get higher. It stacks. It's exponential. It works together. The more ideas you have, the more you analyze, the more it grows, and you can make stronger analyzations, bigger assessments. And I read an article very recently, talking about female behavior and how it differs from males. And I've always been a little skeptical about all the people who kind of abide by that stuff, and especially any like the more uniform, like radicalized movements, like the red pill stuff. But I found so much of the article's findings like completely true and relevant to many of the things that like females have done in the past, from my experience, and just this person with this entire experience. It all made so much sense. And just why my success in having an honest friendship with this person was like so short-lived and didn't work. And so this is kind of I don't know what you'll get from this, but I really genuinely believe this is true, and I didn't think there was, you know, big differences for a long time. But there are definitely biological cues that like the sexes have that some people don't even really have control of. And so to put it shortly, this is just one of the dynamics, but when you're very honest about something that is negative, or like you acknowledge a very unfortunate aspect of reality, women will not like it. Unless they have some sort of like weird niche self-destructive complex, which I know a lot of people are like fucked up these days, but like even if they aren't some like straight or traditional gender or whatever, or they choose to live in some weird way, or they think they're like an exception, they will be repelled from you if you admit significant dissatisfaction in the real world. Again, there's like the rare case where they feed off people who are like fucked up, which is messed up, you know, in its own right. But most, like pretty much every human female I've met, if at any point you again, there's some exceptions. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, there are women who won't do this, and I believe a lot of those are those who already like have boyfriends, so that part of their brain, those thoughts are kind of not on. But at the same time, there's plenty of men who have this same turnoff, who like you say some. I mean, I feel like this happens with so many things that I say. Yeah, I say something a little off the cuff, a little honest, and people just disappear from my scope of view, because you know it's like no one wants to think that they're like living terribly, or like that I realize how fucked up it is, which is unfortunate, because you gotta realize, if you want to improve, you have to be honest, which some people will realize eventually, some people won't. Where was I? But it just makes life tough sometimes, because I am personally like very dissatisfied with this world, and in some essence my life like quite dissatisfied, because I think there's just so much room, like very obviously, for improvement. And just personally, like I feel like I've done well in improving a bit over the last few years, but I feel like I have so much more room to grow and so much I can overcome. And it just, frankly, it's hard to look anywhere and not see like so many problems and just see so much like negative, so many things that sadden me. And this is how I feel about people. It's like so many of them are completely convinced of everything already, and they literally just go around using their voice and expression, their assets, to just agree with what they already agree with and to disagree with what they already disagree with. Like politics is a perfect example of this. Because I don't think it's crazy for me to say that you have to be somewhat delusional to believe you are like on the right side of history or some shit because you are a like strong Republican or strong Democrat. Like you're like super leaning one side of the spectrum, because you're basically saying that 50% of our world is like just fucking wrong in so many issues, and most of these people will say it is. Like, it's crazy to me how many of these people are like so against, and they view these people as like the others. And I have a lot of personal experience with people and reading the works of people who are like extreme right and extreme left political. And I think they both have a lot of truth to them. I think there's a lot more overlapping truth than people will admit. Not all truth is contradictory. It's not also black and white. But they both have very distorted views of the other. They only see what they want, and they only see the bad shit. And this anti-other thing just always comes from everyone agreeing too much on either side, and like just innately disagreeing with whatever the opposition says. It's not about logical discussion. It's about ganging up on each other and feeling right and having a group that you can like establish with. Holy shit, I'm like really going off on this, but I'm using politics as an example because I talk to people who fall, very hard on these sides of the spectrum, and it's just so absurd to me that everyone thinks they totally have this figured out. They totally know what's going on. They get it. And then see, if I was like ever as nearly honest as to some of my friends from my old school about this stuff, I can imagine right now they would literally say, then why are you acting like you have it all figured out? Like, and that explains so perfectly like why so much of this is so fucked up, because they think they're like being smart or something, like but they're caught in wordplay, and they don't understand that you can observe something and make a strong statement on it, being not credible without being guilty of the same thing just by having an opinion. Young people, it's hard. It's the same thing with people like in every neck of the woods on the internet, because it's like whenever I bring up something or act or make something that I know people won't like in a certain way, they always say what I expect them to say. There's some witty remark that I knew would come because they just disagree. Like they just disagree indefinitely, and they live. Or I've mostly like given up now on trying to think I can ever change anyone's mind on the internet. And often in real life, because they've already decided so much. And the second you disagree, you are the other. It gets emotional for them, and all of their like hatred towards the other comes out, and they don't think rationally. I'm getting on here a bit, but it's just because I just imagine the cynic watching this and thinking this is all bullshit. Like I know many people think, and I think the thing that truly makes me sad about that is the fact that I'm like in the world with these people, that these are my companions, these are my peers, and my fellows in this weird ass mess of like a random fucking like luck that is the earth. And I can shower them with all the love and genuineness that I want, and that they will see it in a way they want to ensure like I'm a nutcase and that I'm edgy. To use their like terminology, and that everything I'm doing is for attention because they're extrapolating personal embarrassing experiences onto me and claiming it's my entire existence because of what it was. It's likely, but not always, but likely their past experience with insecurity for needing attention and having ploys to get it in disingenuous ways. I can't feel fucking like smug about them living ignorantly. Like even if this just means they're sheep who've decided everything. And they cause so much like damage to the world, and they're fools, whatever. I can't be happy about that. I don't fucking get people who are like just okay to be like, haha, I know more than that person, and even if they fight against me, like I'm just gonna laugh and be happy that I'm above them. Like it sucks. I'd really love to be in a world where that isn't the case. I have to keep looking around and seeing it constantly. It's like I wanna look around and see people pushing themselves, freely thinking, and like just letting go of this massive cynicism and decisiveness, both for their sake, that I don't want everyone to be like so mentally messed up in that way, but also for my sake, because it makes me feel sick to have to see this every time I look into the world. Like this is so much of the scenery, and this is part of the reason why for the last year or so I've been trying to just sort of like keep my head down and focus on what I want to do with myself, because if I look elsewhere to the environments around me, it just fucking brings me down. It's painful, it hurts. I really do wonder why I make these YouTube videos. Not so much why I make them, because I really love doing them, but I guess why I feel like this need to keep it up, and why I desire to have like a bigger channel, or like have a success with it, because I really don't know why. I fucking love all of the people who are already subscribed, because most of them have kind of stuck through like enough uploads that all of the trolley people, or people really not like quite on this wavelength, have unsubscribed. They lost interest. And I mean that like almost every video I don't share somewhere gets like +2 subscribers and -1 subscriber. Like people unsubscribe constantly. Like it's crazy how many I've had. And so, I mean, I think that's good, because all the people that are here, I think, are really great, genuine people. And I think the right people to be here, because like, and just on the last Banny video thing, like the ego thing, like I really appreciated all the comments. Like I asked for discussion and you guys delivered, and it was cool to kind of get a picture of the opinions of the people watching. And sure enough, like I'm attracting the right crowd, because most of the people who commented said that they didn't even like entirely agree, or didn't necessarily like Banny, but they appreciated the message, and that's so fucking cool. Like that's exactly what I want. People who are in life to learn and have discussion. And I appreciate that so much. I have to give a shout out to that one guy. I'm gonna look it up right now, his name. But so Ian Benedict, he says, "I don't get it." And I said, "Once you get to know me, you'll see I'm just like your favorite YouTubers, blah, blah, blah." I get a bunch of thumbs up. It's like this terrible bully shit. And he comments on my last video, and I think he commented some other ones, like he's been sticking around. And he says, he gave a very constructive comment. He was like, "They're always jealous that Banny has played 11K of hours, makes minimum wage from stream donations, and has a reasonably sensible life put together. He should be respectful to guide him. That's this long, thoughtful comment. Cool video too. I like your thoughts. Maybe we could have a more clear title. Very constructive, very helpful." And I think that's awesome. The guy, I like harassed him at first. I didn't even know why he stuck around, but he's still here. Like that's so cool. That's exactly what I want. Huge shout out to you and to everyone else. Seriously, it's awesome. And for some reason, part of me like still wants to spread the channel. Like I don't really get it entirely why I'm like this, but some part of me always dabbles into like looking at all the other tf2 content on YouTube, and it makes me feel like, fuck, this is just like so mindless. Like all the videos, I've seen a few recently, like all the people being like, tf2 videos can't be original, like you can't do it anymore, like there's no content. Like it just fucking enrages me. I haven't even like been playing the game for the last like 15 uploads. Like come on. I don't know. I just feel like I'm doing good stuff, and it would be nice to have like validation, but that fucks with me too. Because why isn't this enough, you know? I really love that I have like anyone following me that I didn't know before the videos, who actually like stuck around and liked the whole like casual package, not just one video or whatever. Like that's the whole point. But I don't know, I'm psychologically impacted in some way, like almost inevitably by the way that when I look at all the things done like with the standard measurements of success, like likes and views and all that shit, like I fall so short. Like I feel like almost every one of my videos is something that no one has really done. Like I feel like it's always surprising. I like to think it's always worth your time. Like even that like 25-minute video, the mind love you or whatever, where I was like, season 8's the best, and you've already made up your mind about the like dislike bar and like the tf2 99%ers. Banny shouldn't get so much skepticism, which by the way, it's like the same shit you see with like presidents and like high political figures, people who have numerous fucking law degrees and work like 17-hour days, know infinitely more than you about the system they work in, and we all just like totally fucking judge them like we know everything. And anyway, I know that video had a lot of shock factor, and it was in some ways like intended to be offensive to the TF2 community and annoy people, so that hopefully it would make them wonder why they are annoyed. But even in that, I tried to make everything put in that video to be like true or have some actual substance. Like I want you to be able to walk away with it feeling like you gain some sort of knowledge that is either directly applicable to life or just can be like carried over to life. Like it's all related, and I try to have real messages, but I don't know. I see like boring fucking commentaries get more views than I ever get on like a non-TF2 in 2000 video. And it's like 70 minutes, and they probably say 2 sentences worth of actual substance. Like, hey guys, I've been busy with school, but I'm streaming now. And I'm like, wow, Scout's hard. I haven't played in a while. Like, wow. I don't know. I don't want to hate on them, but shit. I just feel like it's all boils down again to the fact that I'm trying to make something pure. I want to do something pure with my time, and I feel like the world is not very pure. People don't want purity, substance, and so I'm catering to pretty much a non-existent, very small niche. So I feel like I'm just complaining about this like disparity in YouTube success because I know I will never be like a giggly guy or a truck or a getaway who have like the funny videos and stuff. Because I'm just not as accessible, or I don't have the reputation already. Maybe that's it too. I don't know. I really honestly think I've partly figured it out here just talking about it. And it's just the fact that, again, that this hobby like as well like isolates me in another way from the general public, because I just again, like even within the TF2 world, it makes me look out into this like sea of people and just see like robots. like characters. They're not real. They don't have dynamics to them. But fuck, like if you watch any of my stuff and feel like you do get stuff out of it, like it's a better use of your time than 35 minutes of reading the forums or watching some invite queue for like a pug on Twitch, thank you. Like you guys, it's the reason why I wake up and think there is like a semblance of hope.
And counting.
But I'm just so fucking overwhelmed too with how many ideas build up. Like I've been thinking about it almost every day, how I could probably say in a video that I have multiple TF2 video ideas every day. Because I do. Like I feel like whenever I think about the TF2 microcosm at all, I come up with like a ton of video ideas just on the moment. Like, or even like when I'm just waking up from sleep, just in the kind of right way where my subconscious is just like fluttering like crazy and I'm not quite awake, just like floating around in my mind. In that half sleep state, I'll think of some idea about life, or I'll realize something about life, and I'll think about how I can make that into a YouTube video and post it to the channel. And probably it's like the best use of it, but I really don't do that most of the time. I feel like this YouTube channel is a tool of procrastination for me, right? Because I make videos with it almost always when I've told myself I need to be doing something else, but I'm too lazy or unpressured to do it by like external forces, so I give in and I make something like this. I feel like if I just exploded my brain to this channel and actually like followed through on every idea and like give this thing my priority of efforts, I feel like it would become overwhelming for anyone who follows it, and it would be hard to lose interest. Like, I don't know, I feel like that can happen a lot when it's not easy content, when it's not, you know, episode 500 of some series you've already seen a bazillion times, or just another commentary where you're just listening to me talking and it feels like you have a buddy. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. A big part of me wishes I had multiple lives, where I could just like take my paths of interest and devote full time to each of them individually, like in separate lives. Like one life where I could just actually give my attention wholeheartedly to whatever the fuck this TF2 world is, and not feel guilty about it, retracting from my other goals. And same to go with my other goals. I'll have all sorts of moments of inspiration, those same types of thoughts where I'm half sleeping about whole new ventures I could pursue and how I could further my goals and successes. And certain arenas of life if I just focused on them. And I was filming this clip just now for this video of me playing a YouTube video to show like how shitty the quality is of trying to play videos on my computer, and just watching it, even with that freeze frame thing, it also made me think even newer about it, new thoughts, because it made me think of music like as a whole. I'm a big appreciator of music, and like most people who've talked to me regular might know this better than I can explain it. And I was just thinking that part of the magic of like a live music experience like that, of any good music setting, is that it's this force that literally overpowers all other sound. The words, the fucking like constant bullshit is overwritten. Like no one can speak loudly enough to fucking ruin that moment. If they try, they're just gonna waste their energy to no avail. Like they can't stop. The sound will just overpower them. It's like pure action above words in the most blatant form. Because someone will say some stupid shit to invalidate the whole thing and remind me again why everywhere I look is so discouraging in this world, but they can only do that afterwards. Like while that actual song is playing full volume unison at a concert, it just takes over. It nullifies any of that. It's just pure expression. We don't have to fucking say anything about it. It just doesn't have to be ruined by human linguistics. I'm getting like way too far on another point, but I think there's really something so like beautiful in music's ability to make us stop talking, and we can just focus on something different entirely. I think in a lot of cases you could find something just as profound if you could get together like 1,000 people in a concert hall and tell them to be completely silent, but still actively engage in their setting as if music was playing, but just sit there and don't say anything for like an hour. 1,000 people. It would be just as therapeutic, I believe. But like, I think maybe people like music so much they don't know it, but part of it is because it's the only place for people to shut up. It's the only way for them to shut up. I mean, this is just speaking for a live environment, but I think there's something to that. And go experience something like this if you haven't. I'm serious. Infinitely different than like listening to Spotify on your computer or whatever. A good live experience will have a huge impact. Something to do with all of this that I think is a big theme and is my weird and probably your weird relationship with the tf2 scene. Like I feel like I have so many weird ass like one-way relationships from it, where I'm following Slin or Truck or whoever, and I feel like I really care about them, and you'll say something nice in Twitch chat or whatever, and you really do pick up a lot of who they are by watching hours and hours of them. They cast, they stream, read their comments or whatever. You get to know them, whether they admit it or not. You do. But no matter what, they have no fucking clue who you are. And I know, I guess it bums me out, but just, I don't know, so I made that Mr. Slin, the MD video thing the other day, and that was something I've wanted to do for months. I actually recorded me singing that in November. That's how long it's been on the back burner, and I haven't been doing it, but it just was like the perfect time with this whole, after the 6 Fox thing or whatever. And I've always admired Slin, and I think part of that is I feel like I always wish I was legitimately friends with him, that I actually had him as a friend. And granted, some streamers are tf2 personalities. I don't feel that with everyone. I don't feel that need for there to be a real relationship. Like Seabear, I fucking love Seabear. I can't even begin to tell you. I smile just thinking about him. But I honestly don't think we could be friends, or even that I want to be. I love him as a character. But people like Slin, even Getawell, those are the people I wish were real friends. And I feel like it's hard to break that barrier as a viewer from the other side or whatever. I've been trying to do that with Getawell a bit. Whenever I remember to check and see if he's streaming, I'll try to call in or whatever. Hopefully winning a motor or something. just being me, but it's just hard being in the 99.9% and like just being viewed as a name. And maybe this is just something I struggle with, but like I'm a person, but to them I'm no one. Like I'm just a name, and yet I feel like I'm their friend, or I want them to be my friend, and there's something fucked up there. Like I don't know, am I crazy? Someone hear me out here. But with this being said, even I'm like not. I'm not anybody with like any community prestige right now, you know. And I always want to be fucking real with anyone who follows what I do, and I feel this way about anyone who follows my channel now. Like I don't know if there's anyone actually at that spot, but if you actually want to like talk to me or whatever, I'd be more than happy to. I really don't want to be the like fucking guy who doesn't respond to any YouTube comments and kind of perpetuates this I am above you like sort of game thing. Like I'm a person, and if you wish we could actually have a conversation, I do too. Like I feel you. Again, I don't know if this is even a sentiment that anyone has, but seriously, if you do, just PM me on YouTube or whatever, or reach me any way you can. Like give you my personal email and shit, or even when you can call. Because I know you're already great, because you're an early bird and you're into the stuff I make. You know, you found it or whatever. You're into this. But that brings up another thing. Like I feel like part of success is distancing yourself from your followers, like treating them as subhuman, being less real. Like I remember watching that like tag stream highlight where he just gets a shit ton of donations for 15 minutes, text to speech, and he doesn't say thank you like once. It's like he doesn't even care. Or better yet, it's like he's made it a thing that he acts like he doesn't want it to happen, and everyone sort of donates sadistically, like, wow, haha, I'm trolling him so bad by giving him money. Like, I just hate the thought that that ties into success. And it's the same fucking thing with dating dynamics, women and men. Women love men who don't give it all to them. They love men who really are on their own shit and treat them like not a huge deal. And don't give them all the attention right away and do the hard to get thing. Like it's a real phenomenon. Ask women, they won't want to, like they'll say that they don't like it, but it's like a biological factor. It's a reality because, and again, I think it's not sex limited. Like I'm saying, there's mutual traits here. It's just a human thing. Like I think all humans do this in some way. You want what you can't have. Everyone can have me, so why would you want me? You know what I mean? Like I'm available. I'll send the message to Swim to Slin or whatever. But like by that time, you know, I don't know. It's like if I hadn't said anything, maybe you'd be like, "Who's the $6 guy?" But that's just it. But really, I'm trying to think of the right way to conclude this. In mind, I can just go on forever, really. And that's part of why I really like the like intense jazz music. Like it's just like fucking stream of consciousness unloading, like opening your brain up and just going off forever. Like keep going, so many ideas, so many connections. But really, let's finish this. There's just some of the shit going through my head tonight, and I hope anyone watching this is doing okay. And like really, just fucking work. Don't think of work, like, but just to improve yourself, push yourself, and be the positive change you want to see in your life. And I hope that this gives you some value. If you feel like it's not, you're probably not paying attention in the right way, because it's not just this. There's advice and wisdom in everything. And you just have to be looking for it. You just have to be paying attention. You're my friend if you're watching this, pretty much. The tf2 community makes me bummed out. Most people do, because they're like living on bypass and shut out and ridicule anyone who isn't. And I don't know, it's sad to live in a world filled with these people. It's human nature to want my peers to improve themselves and be fulfilled. I don't like watching people fatten themselves mentally. It's not easing my conscience to be saying this or realizing this or seeing it everywhere. It would be much easier to not pay attention and just be like ignorant about it all. But it's going on. It's real. Thank you for watching. Live fully now. And I'm always here for you.